because I see this argument a lot where people will say, oh, well, it's not the new council's fault, it's the commissioner's fault. But there were times, I think even at the end of last year, that the newly elected council could have changed the trajectory of where we were going, say the Civic Center to Manawataki to Papa. There were some decisions there. So that's one thing that had come through around clarity is everything the commissioner's fault? Is there some shared responsibility now with new elected members? What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it is a bit of both. I think, I don't want to say fault, but it was certainly the commissioners doing that we have the plan we've got, and things like the Te Manawataki Civic Centre, that was on them in terms of they made the calls, but it's also on us because we had the chance to vote to change that. So I think there is a shared responsibility. For me, it's probably a big factor was that my colleagues were not as familiar with some of the detail around projects like that. And even the history of it, what the community's views were and so forth. So I was pretty close to some of those things and was prepared to try to change those projects. I wasn't trying to put the kibosh on it all. I was trying to reduce the costs and deliver something that offered better value for money. Pretty much, I would say almost all my colleagues were not in that space last August when we had a chance to make the initial decision. And so it went through by a vote of, I believe, 8-2. And then we had a similar
8 to go
eight
forward.
to go forward. And I think that reflected the fact that the staff were saying, we have to keep moving with this. It's going to cost too much to change it. And we'd only been around for a few weeks in our role. And I think it was probably a lot to ask those elected councillors to get up to speed that quickly. So they went with the staff recommendation. Probably the more concerning one was in December, when I felt we could have had better discussions and looked at more options for the Museum Exhibition Centre Civic Whare, which is quite an expensive, it's about half the cost, $150 million. And it was always sort of seemed predetermined to go through. And to me, what would have been better is to look at an option to reduce the scope of that and reduce the cost. But we never really had that discussion. So I think that's probably the frustration I feel is we are responsible for that.